This was not the first time of me telling this story. This has been years. It started me telling this story when my sister passed away. So this is like years of me getting to this point, to this layer. I always stand true by what I said. I always stand true by what happened. And I don't know if there was a right or wrong way, the way I handled it. I don't think that there was. And with what I speak with my therapist with, there was no right or wrong way to tell the story. I just had to tell the story.
Okay, so we need to talk about what's been happening with Ashlee and the Braxton family, because this situation is getting messier by the day. Y'all better buckle up because this rabbit hole goes deep. First things first, Ashlee has been speaking about her experiences with abuse for years. She has been consistent, she has been vocal, and her story has remained the same through multiple interviews and videos. The details lined up, the timeline was steady, and anyone paying attention knew exactly what she was saying. But now, all of a sudden, Ashlee is changing her tune. She's downplaying what happened. She's saying it wasn't that bad and minimizing the trauma she's been talking about for literal years. And I'm sorry, but that is a major red flag. Victims do not just wake up one day and decide their trauma wasn't as serious as they thought. So what changed? Who got to her? Something is not adding up. Let's be real. Victims don't randomly minimize their trauma without external pressure. When someone has been consistent for years and suddenly starts backtracking, that tells me somebody got in their ear. Somebody influenced them. Somebody made them feel like they needed to protect a certain narrative. This isn't just suspicious. It's looking like a full-blown cover-up. Who benefits from Ashlee changing her story? Not Ashlee, not survivors following her journey. So who does that leave? The family, the people with a reputation to protect the people who don't want their dirty laundry aired out. Now here's where the theory gets wild. Ashlee looks more like Towanda than she looks like her supposed biological mother. I'm talking facial features, bone structure, the shape of her face, everything. When you put pictures of Ashlee and Towanda side by side, the resemblance is striking. Do I have DNA evidence? No. But what I do have is eyes, and what I'm seeing is raising serious questions. Because if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck and looks like a duck, then we gotta start asking if maybe there's more to the story than what we've been told. Here's another thing. Ashlee has been speaking publicly for years. She's been posting videos, doing interviews, putting her truth out there. But somehow, very few people knew about her story until recently. And that's strange because Ashlee is connected to the Braxton family, one of the most famous R&B families in the industry. So why does Ashlee's content have extremely low views? Why has her voice been essentially invisible despite being related to celebrities? That doesn't happen by accident. That sounds like shadow banning. That sounds like content suppression. What is so damaging about her truth that it needed to be buried? Let's talk about Ashlee's father. According to Ashlee, he has been trying to silence her.
And it may not be your family, and that is totally okay. I am an example of that. You may not get support from your family, and that is totally fine. You still have the right to use your voice. You still have the right to talk. You still have the right to say how you feel. The world will try to silence you. People will try to silence you. But the world needs your voice and not your silence.
She's made claims that he wants her to stop speaking publicly, that there have been threats, that she's been made to feel unsafe for telling her truth. Why would a father want to silence his daughter unless she's exposing something he desperately wants to keep hidden? The fact that he allegedly wants to shut her up tells me there's validity to what she's saying. People don't try to silence lies, they try to silence truth. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, Ashlee's sister passed away. That shocked everybody. The timing, the circumstances, the mystery around it, it all sparked immediate speculation. People started asking questions. What are they hiding? What are they protecting? Who benefits from keeping these secrets buried? Let's talk about family dynamics, because this is where the theory starts to make sense. If you raise a child, your niece, and you're the primary caregiver, that child is going to assume you are their mother, especially if they're young, especially if no one explains the full truth. So here's the question. Was Ashlee raised by Towanda without ever knowing the truth? Was she told a version of her family history that wasn't accurate? Because if Towanda raised her, it would make perfect sense why Ashlee would have confusion about who her real mother is. Let's talk about the birth certificate situation, because this is where things get legally messy. Ashlee said her mother's name was removed from her birth certificate. Now, birth certificates cannot just be changed casually. Changing a birth certificate requires court orders, legal proceedings, official official documentation. So either Ashlee was misinformed as a child, someone lied to her, or something extremely shady went down. Both options support the theory that Towanda might be her real mother, because if Ashlee's birth certificate was legally altered, that means someone went through a whole legal process to hide the truth. Here's another bombshell. Ashlee recently mentioned having brothers. For the first time ever, this woman has been talking about her life for years, and she never once mentioned having brothers until now. So where did these brothers come from? Who are they? Why have they been hidden? This suggests there are more family members the public doesn't know about, more secrets, more hidden relationships. Every time new information comes out, it raises more questions instead of answering the ones we already have. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this is not an isolated incident. The Braxton family has a history of abuse allegations. Tamar has spoken publicly about abuse. Ashlee accused her father. Trina's ex, Gabe, had his own scandals. There is a pattern here. When you see a pattern like that, you have to ask, what kind of environment were these women raised in? What kind of family structure allowed this behavior to continue? It looks like the priority has always been protecting the family name, not protecting the people who were hurt. That brings us back to Ashlee and the sudden shift. After years of being consistent, she is now downplaying what happened. She's minimizing her own trauma, and that is very unusual behavior for someone who has been so vocal for so long. This is not natural healing. This looks like someone who has been threatened, pressured, or manipulated into changing their story. When you consider the family's history, when you consider how much they have to lose if the truth comes out, it all makes sense. Here's the thing about childhood memories. They can be manipulated. If adults repeatedly tell a child a false story, if they reinforce it over and over, the child will eventually believe it as truth. That's how memory works, especially in young children who can't question authority figures. So if Ashlee was fed misinformation during childhood, if she was told lies about her birth certificate, her mother, her family structure, then it makes sense why her understanding of her own history might be confused. She was working with false information her entire life. Let's go back to those document changes, because y'all need to understand how impossible some of these claims are. Legally, birth certificate changes require legal processes. They require court involvement. They require official documentation. So when Ashlee talks about documents being altered, those stories don't add up legally unless someone went through proper channels. Now, I need to make something very clear. Even if some details are mixed up, even if Ashlee was given false information as a child, her trauma is still real. Her pain is still valid. The abuse she suffered is still abuse, regardless of who her biological parents are. Misinformation about paperwork doesn't erase the harm done to her. And the fact that the family has created so much secrecy, so much confusion, so much deliberate deception only makes the situation more suspicious, not less. Trying to silence Ashlee. Here's where the theory gets really dark. There's speculation that Michael, Ashlee's father, has been trying to silence her through legal means. We're talking possible cease and desist letters, legal threats, attempts to force her to stop speaking. And if that's true, his motive is clear: protecting his abusive past. And here's where it connects. If the theory is true that Michael and Towanda are actually Ashlee's parents, he has even more reason to want her silent, because that would mean there's a whole other layer of scandal that would blow up the entire family. Braxton family hypocrisy. And can we talk about the absolute hypocrisy of this family? They built their entire careers on reality TV. They sold transparency and keeping it real to the public for years. They made millions off showing their lives, their relationships, their conflicts. But behind the scenes, it's all secrecy, contradictions, and carefully controlled narratives. They'll show you what they want you to see, but the real dirt stays hidden. Ashlee is exposing the parts they desperately tried to keep buried. Confirmed, the brothers are half-brothers. And just to add confirmation, it's been confirmed that the brothers Ashlee mentioned are indeed half-brothers, which means there are hidden family relationships, which means there are secrets deliberately kept from the public.
She had stepbrothers. Did they come with her? Were they part of the package, or did they come along later?
They came along later.
Okay.
So my sister is 3 years younger than I am. My oldest younger brother is 4 years. And then after that, it's 8 years.
Okay.
So they came after. And it's unfortunate that even now we don't have a relationship, because you were just pit against each other.
Yeah.
So the household was like all for one and one for all. You better guard up.
Wow.
And it's not really healthy.
No, definitely not. No. You know, I was wondering, like, what would the effects of those circumstances be on the younger brothers, because it would be very difficult for them to, I guess, develop respect towards you and your sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't see eye to eye because the way they see life is very different than the way I've seen it. And so for them, it's hard, which is understandable.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking these things about their mother, these are quite harsh accusations
Of course.
that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you were not there to grasp what was happening, then perhaps you think and be like, I think this is a little far-fetched.
Yes.
And that was something that was really hard for me because I come from this family.
So let's bring it all together. Is Towanda actually Ashlee's real mother? Look at the evidence. The physical resemblance is undeniable. The birth certificate confusion suggests legal manipulation. The document secrecy points to deliberate cover-up. The timeline contradictions don't make sense unless someone is lying. And the family's behavior, the pressure, the silence, the attempts to control Ashlee's narrative, all of it lines up with people desperately trying to hide a massive secret. All the pieces fit. All the clues point in the same direction. And while we don't have DNA evidence, the circumstantial evidence is strong. This theory isn't just plausible, it's starting to look like the most logical explanation. So now, I want to hear from y'all. Do you believe the Towanda theory? Do you think Ashlee is being silenced by her family? Do you think there's a massive cover-up happening right in front of our eyes? Drop your opinions in the comments because I am invested in this story. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you want me to dig even deeper, because trust me, if there's more to uncover, I will find it. Until next time, stay messy, stay curious, and keep asking questions.